show, radio to open the heart, heal the soul, awaken the consciousness. Benny
Yes,
Mathers,
ma'am.
are you
I
here?
am here.
I'm so glad to see you.
Good to see you as always.
As always, years and
Mm-hmm.
years and years of friendship and I always want to bring you on for just a moment. How's life? What's
Life
happening?
life isn't bad. I now have teenagers in the house as of it's been a couple weeks now. They're doing okay. The boys are 13. Yes, I have
No,
twin boys. If you're just tuning in, you haven't known
no.
Benny's life and the history around it. Yes, it's true.
That's shocking to me.
I
That
know,
tells
right?
me how long we've known each other. That's shocking.
I
Or
know,
how
right?
tall are they? How tall?
They're just a little bit above my shoulder, which is good, and I'm 6 foot, so or maybe on a good day 6'1". I'd like to think more of on a good day. It's every day for
You're
me.
definitely 6'1".
Thank you. Yes.
Definitely.
I'm
Thank you.
hoping though they go past me. I mean, it's been a minute since I've seen a family member above me on my height level. So, not
Wow.
only could I be the security guard of my family because always standing in the back of all the family photos, maybe they'll stand next to me. I think it'd be great someday.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, love to you and your
Thanks.
beautiful family,
Thank
and
you.
I don't know. It's what life's all about, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, man.
So,
It's the future.
wow.
They're the future.
Yeah, it is the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, where would we be without them? Well,
That's another day topic for another day, I guess.
Yeah, we should talk about that sometime.
Ooh,
That would be really fun.
heck yeah.
Anyway, yeah, yeah. Anyway, I hope everybody out there, you're having good times with your families. That's a loaded statement. I understand. So we'll
Right?
send all kinds of love and Reiki and goodness to everybody. Anyway, I am the owner of a Reiki Oasis located right here in the greater Seattle area for 28 years, long time we've been doing the work out there. You can find out more about me at ReikiOasis.com. And just a reminder, this coming Saturday, January 27th, is my monthly class for women, Temple of the Divine Feminine. Oh, it is so nurturing. It is so lovely. It is a true circle for women, and you can either attend in person or via Zoom. And if you are interested in that, go to ReikiOasis.com or send an email to ReikiOasis@gmail.com and ask me questions about it. I'd love to have some new lovely goddesses in our class, and we do have a really good time, very nurturing. So let's check in with astrology, because guess what? Woohoo! Today is January 25th. It's the first full moon of 2024, and it falls in the heart expanding sign of Leo. This full moon is super, super intense because it is in opposition to Pluto, one of the maleficent planets that just ingressed into Aquarius at 0 degrees. It did it last Saturday, and some of my sensitives, including myself, almost felt a switch on the wall, which is really kind of unusual. Pluto is still conjunct the sun, and Jupiter is squaring this full moon. So, like I said, it's very intense. Normally, Leo is one of the most positive signs. It's ruled by the sun. It's about fun, creativity, shining, leadership, very positive energy. And normally, a full Leo moon wouldn't be so intense. But this opposition with Pluto to the sun is stressing the sun out a little bit. Like, can I shine? Will I shine? What's going on? Don't try to dim my light. And I think it's all part of this energy helping us move into the age of Aquarius. And by the way, Pluto has been dancing back and forth between Capricorn and Aquarius. If you listen to my show, I talk about it all the time. Last year, it danced back and forth, back and forth. This year, it's coming into Aquarius, but it is going to dance back into Capricorn right toward the end of September and right through the elections to the second year of November. And there'll be some revisiting of some structural content. And then we're going to go into Aquarius for 20 to 21 years. It's a big deal. So this full moon is the perfect time today, this full moon, and the energies of this will be here. The perfect time to release. It's an opportunity to reset, to purge, to illuminate. Full moons always illuminate something, and cleanse away the energies of 2023 to release the old and find our new balance. It's an opportunity to create space for the future we wish to create. Now, with the full moon in Leo, we can work from our hearts and dream big, bold, passionate, fun-loving ideas. But in order to do so, we need to clear away all that stands in the way of receiving joy and fulfillment in our life. Often creating more joy simply requires decluttering rather than introducing something new. What is working? What is not? Maybe it's time to do away with outdated jobs or relationships. And if necessary, always look at your attitudes and beliefs preventing you from recognizing the joy or the goodness that is already present. We do have that tendency to focus on what we don't like, and sometimes we forget to look at what we do like. So it's an ongoing journey. You know, all of us are in that. We're all in this together. Yeah, we are. So with Leo's tendency to be grand, glittery, and dramatic, you may be searching for joy in material things, excessive spending, things like that, or fleeting things that only come once a year or once in a lifetime. But on its deepest level, Leo energy reminds us that the purest joy and pleasure come from simplicity and finding joy in the present moment, such as Benny and his lovely twins and his lovely family, right?
Aw, thanks.
Yeah, I got to do
Aw.
the love thing with you, Benny. It's
Aw.
happening.
Right there. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Thank you. Gonna shine it out, right? So focus on gratitude in the smaller, precious moments. Um, you know, we never know how long we have with people. Live it up. That's my motto. So we can also channel the energy of this full moon to expand our heart energy and connect with our desires and passions. And if you have forgotten what your passions are, the full moon is a reminder. Like, did you forget? Maybe you don't even know. Sometimes I ask people, well, so what do you want? Their guides will say, what do you want? They go, I don't know. You tell me. And I'm like, well, maybe we could, figure out how to get in there and find out what is it that lights us up. And if you've been working on inner child healing, you could make great progress under this full moon. And inner child work can be heavy. So, if you need to be with a spiritual counselor, a therapist, or something to do that work, please do so. But it's a great time to illuminate those areas that really need the light shown on them. And also because Pluto and Aquarius, Pluto is pulling back the carpet. This is the time of truth telling. And Pluto will always do that when it moves into a new area of the sky. We'll say, okay, let's take a look at what's really out of balance here, and we're gonna kind of bring it back into balance. So this full moon is also very emotional. I just kind of say something, because we've got all this drama in the sky, you might feel overwhelmed. Focus on simplicity. This full moon with that opposition is not a good time to go out and do crazy things. So it's really intense. Leo rules drama. Pluto in opposition to the full moon is ruled by Scorpio, can be ruled by drama. So in case I didn't say the word drama, so stay out of other people's drama, stay inside your own drama, observe things, try not to absorb them. And if the people around you are reactive, do all those beautiful things to do, to just kind of stay in your own self, stay in your lane, work on that inner resilience, and take care of yourself, take care of your physical body, your emotional, your psychological, your spiritual, just the whole thing. Be kind, be kind. So just hours after this full moon today, Uranus goes direct. Why do we care? Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, the ruler of shocks, surprises, big things coming out of nowhere. So there could be some shocking information coming out. All major planets are moving direct until April. So we're going to have this big forward movement. It's going to be full steam ahead. All systems go. No retrogrades between the end of January and April. So, and we're about to have an Aquarius stellium of planets. That's a bunch of planets in Aquarius. So from the end of January to the beginning of April, just do it. It's time to start new things. get your stuff in order. Feel that inspiration. Let that Aries fire, Chiron in Aries, is helping us take a look at who we truly are. What is the burning desire in your heart, in your belly? What is it you've always wanted to do that maybe you've held yourself back? Now is the time to have that courage, that Leo brave-hearted courage, that centered courage to do it. The energy says to us right now, there really are no excuses. And if you don't do it now, when? Lots of things you're going to see will be started and created. New systems, new inventions, because that's all ruled by Uranus, will be coming out faster and faster, dealing with our structures of life, AI, both good and bad, positive technologies, right? The humanitarian efforts. And at the personal level, January to April is the time to initiate new things. Remember, my dear listeners, you are the ones we've been waiting for. We are it. And this poor, tired world needs you, needs your light, needs your goodness, needs your heart. And it's time for us to work together. So that's my invitation, everybody, under this beautiful full moon in Leo. And now, whoo, what a great energy. I have the most wonderful guest today, Amy Robeson. And Amy's path to become affectionately known as the Crystal Queen, ta-da, began with a profound acknowledgement of her gifts. And as a gifted empath, intuitive guide, healer, and spiritual coach, she recognized her ability to heal others and channeled spiritual insights was destined to grow into something far more potent and impactful than she had envisioned. Amy is devoted to reconnecting people to their innate divine nature so they can experience more joy, abundance, and love in their lives. What a great day for you to be on the show. My goodness. Amy has marketing and business degrees and certifications as a meditation teacher, master akashic record instructor, a Reiki Master teacher, a life coach, a crystal teacher, tantra and Ayurvedic yogic teacher. Welcome to the show, Amy. Hello.
Thank you for having me. I love that you shared the astrology because I just got back from hosting an intimate akashic record retreat, and it was all about leaning into joy and finding our childlike wonder and having more play. But we got to release old illusions and identity of self in order to do that. And this year is a big manifesting year. So it's fun that we're getting the opportunity to do that right off the bat with this first full moon.
That's lovely, by the way. I've been doing a lot of talking with my clients and everybody about 2024, like what is it that 2023 brought you? And here we are. We're on in my opinion, we're just on that tipping edge. We're tipping. We're going into something that feels very brand new and exciting for me. Like, here we are. Here we are, finally, whatever that means, right?
Yeah. I think this year is going to be like a massive year of setting up for massive success in 2025.
Yes.
So it's not going to be instant gratification. And I think that most of our society expects that. It's about doing a lot of the inner work in order to manifest the reality that you truly want. And we'll see surprises, we'll see blessings all along the way, but the massive rewards are going to come next year from it. And so we just got to keep remembering, like, keep going, slow and steady, slow and steady.
I love that message. I do. I really do, because that is it. Yeah. So someone asked me the other day, they go, well, Loretta, do I have to go through more of this? And I go, I don't know what you mean by more of this. It's called life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, sometimes it's you're on the rapids, it could be thrilling.
I think for me, it's and the message that I always share with my students is it's okay to be human. I think that sometimes in the spiritual community, there's this false perception of everything needs to be perfect and positive all the time. And that's just simply not true. We were blessed with emotions for a reason. We were blessed with this opportunity to experience a lot of human experiences. And that includes grief, that includes rage, that includes anger, that includes sadness. And it's how we dance with that and how we allow ourselves to heal from those experiences really impact the way we shape our reality after the experience occurs. And so often people are shackled to the past because of those old experiences versus how can I free myself? How can I free myself and open up and just allow the light to shine through even when I'm in a dark place?
Yeah.
And it's really empowering.
Yes. That's a powerful statement, and that's spot on. How do we allow the light to shine through when we're in a dark place? That's exactly right. Yeah. So, Amy, where do we start? Jump in. So since a lot of my listening audience may not know who you are,
Yeah.
introduce yourself a little bit. How did you get into what you're doing? And I also, in the introduction for you, something your shift or your began with a profound acknowledgement of your gifts. So did you always know that you had some gifts?
Well, looking back now as an adult that's doing this work, I can see where those gifts occurred because when I was little, like I have memories from when I was 1.5. And like I could, and again, this is trauma based, but not a lot of people understand this. But when you're an empath or you're a sensitive, a lot of time it has to do with what your environment was like as a child. And so I grew up in it. My stepdad was an abusive alcoholic. And so I very quickly, at a very young age, learned to tune into the energy to anticipate what was going to happen so that I could feel safe. Because if I knew what was going to happen, no matter what, it was going to happen, right? And so if I knew what was going to happen ahead of time, I could prepare myself for that impact. And I was really good at anticipating those things. And that's one of the reasons how I became an empath was because of my upbringing. And I was very sensitive as a child. And in my early 20s, I got to a point from all the trauma and all the abuse that I didn't want to be here anymore. It was really, really hard. And I felt I was in a really dark place. And I started receiving intuitive guidance. At that time, I didn't have those words. It was just more like this inspirational feeling that I got. And the guidance that I got was it was really important for me to do hot yoga. And I finally looked up hot yoga, had no idea, like hot yoga. And there was a brand new Bikram studio that just opened up right down the road from my house in February. And it was so awesome. And I went, and Bikram yoga is now called Hot 26. I went, and the first time I went, it was like an instant coming home feeling where it was like, I know this is where I'm supposed to be. And I would go as much as I possibly could, minimum 4 times a week. And it was instantly like my brain started getting dopamine, which then started allowing me to feel more happy. And that one decision led me to all these other spiritual decisions of leading a spiritual life. And I'm a big believer in you follow the energy that presents itself to you. Yeah. You don't have to have those words, but if all of a sudden you have this inspired thought, check in. Does that feel true for you? And if it's not going away, definitely take inspired action on it. And 2, follow the energy because spirit's constantly talking to you. And so from that decision, it led me to this desire to want to learn how to meditate. And I was meditating after class, and I would stay in class. I'd be the last person out the door, and I would stay for like anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, if not longer, until other people start coming in the room for the next class. And I could feel myself slipping into this cosmic, beautiful energy that felt really yummy. And I then started dating my now husband, and I moved to Charleston, and I cracked my tailbone for the second time in my life. Ooh. And the one thing that brought me joy was going to yoga, and I couldn't do it. Like I started walking with a limp. It was in excruciating pain 24 hours a day. And it was for over a year. I had to take pain pills. Like it was just awful. And I realized that if I continue to feel sorry for myself, if I continue to stay in this dark place, it is going to be really hard to claw my way out of again. And I'm going to get to the point where I don't want to be here. And so I have to take massive action. What's the one thing I've been saying I want to do? Meditate. So I found my meditation teacher, and that opened up doors where I started. She taught me how to do dream interpretation. She taught me how to work with the chakras. I took a meditate, and I'm going to put this in quotation, meditation teacher course, which was, it sounds so fluffy. It was totally not. Like, I learned mediumship, hands-on healings, how to read auras, how to do healings. And this is where I started tapping into the Akashic records. And it wasn't something she taught. I just started tapping into them. And then that led me to Reiki and led me to all these other modalities. And I had no intention ever to do this as a career. I just thought it just was so much fun, and I wanted to learn it. And I knew I wanted to do something different than what my career was at that time. But I just, my first teacher said, doesn't matter what you do for the next 2 years, you're just supposed to study. And when you hear that, instantly you think Western, like, oh, I'm supposed to go back to college. And that felt so not true for me, because I already just went back to college. I finished my degree, and I was planning on doing something totally different. And I went and moved to be with my husband, and I had to figure things out in a different way, because God led me to a different path. Creation led me on a different path. And that was to own my gifts. I come from a line of spiritual healers. My mom, my mom can connect to people that when they transitioned, she was a nurse, and she would know that her patients would come to her at nighttime when they would pass, and she would know exactly what time they passed away, because she would go and check the chart, and she would like assist them to go off to the light. And my grandma was an astrology reader and a tarot card reader, and so she would do charts and things like that for people. And so like, I grew up around spiritual things, and I know not a lot of people do. And so for me, this was like a natural thing where I didn't have to worry about anybody in my family thinking I was weird or I was going to get persecuted from my family, because that is a really true thing for some people. And I feel very fortunate in that, because I help my clients work through some of those things. But for me, it's just follow the energy, whatever path you're meant to take. The more that you lean into those inspired thoughts and take inspired action on it, doors open up beyond your wildest imagination. And now, like, what I do is I teach Akashic records. I have a program that's called Sacred Awakening, and I teach people how to open their records for themselves, how to open the records for other people. And if they want to get certified as a healer to do it as well, we do that too. And we just go deeper and deeper and deeper. And as you know, like, if you teach Reiki, like, you can go so deep with a practice, and it will open up so many avenues, and it's so much fun. It really, really is. It's so much fun.
Your story is bringing so much joy to my heart. I just want to share that with you.
Aww.
I have a similar but different story, but I currently have so many clients and who are feeling this pull, I'm going to say, to quit their jobs and get into this type of work in some fashion. And in fact, just yesterday, I had somebody who came in and we were talking, and as happens, because, I'm claircognizant, like I have all the clairs like you do.
Yeah, I'm very claircognizant too, so I totally get it.
I'm always saying, and then there's eclairs, those are good too. But anyway, that's my joke. But she's sitting there, and out of the blue, I just said, have you been thinking about doing astrology? Because it was so loud. And she went, oh my gosh. She goes, Loretta, I do these little like baby charts on my friends all the time. Like, what's your birthday? And here, let me tell you. And I said, just like what you just said, I said, I'm very much hearing you need to go study, and you need to get it and do it. because
Yeah.
these things bring us so much joy. And also there's this lovely, I'm going to use the word validation because that's what's coming through to me. This validation that this pathway that we're on, that we're doing, that you're doing, right? Where you are offering all of these things and how the Akasha just came to you. And boy, I really want to dive into that after our break. But these things are real. We're actually hardwired for them, right? Like
Yeah.
it is a part of, I got goosebumps, please. It is a natural part of who and what we are to be able to have these extra abilities. And they're not extra abilities, they're just part of who we are that for some reason we've shut down or we got afraid of them or there's been a lot of persecution. And so I just applaud you for being you and saying everything you're doing and just boldly being out there with your beautiful light. Like it's not fluffy, it's big. You know,
Oh,
you
it's
understand that.
gigantic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. And that's the thing. It's like we're gonna see it doesn't mean you quit your job right away. Because that's the
Right.
false perception that people kind of they shut down and they freak out because they're like, well, this is secure. You do not have to leave your job. I studied diligently for over 4 years before I had the courage to leave my job. And it's one of those things. And then you can also have part-time income coming in while you're building your business and you're doing these things. And if you're being guided to do it, start exploring your interest, because those interests will open up other interests, which will be the things that you do. And sometimes it's not the very first thing that you start with. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And for like the Akashic records start speaking to people. Like once you start hearing about it, they start really getting loud for people. And for me, I trust 100%. And Laura, you'll laugh at my experience with Reiki is I was going to go water skiing and I met this new friend and I was like, hey, you want to go water skiing with us on a Sunday? And she goes, no, I'm doing this thing. I was like, what are you doing? Like, I want to know what you're doing. She goes, it's really weird. And I go, you can't weird me out. Trust me. What are you doing? Because I know I'm supposed to hear whatever. She's like, I'm gonna go get Reiki level 1 certified. I said, I have no clue what that is, but I know I'm supposed to be there. Can you call your teacher right now and ask if I can come? And she goes, what? I go, yeah, I need to go to this thing because I knew in my heart and in all parts of my being that I was supposed to go. And the one thing that I was nervous about doing in my teacher training that I was doing was hands-on healing. And so Spirit brought me Reiki and it was like, here, this is what this looks like. Go and practice. You got a space to practice in a community so that you can see what it actually looks like instead of overthinking it and overcomplicating it.
Okay, so I'll say this one thing and then we'll take a station break. So I got to tell you this. So I've been in Reiki almost 30 years, long time ago. And when I went to study Reiki, I had absolutely no idea what it was. And even when the class was over, I was like, I have no idea what that is. And then I was like, but I'm going to go do it. Right. And so
Yes.
after I got through my master training and just sort of hung a shingle up, like just, I don't know, ran an ad in a newspaper at that time. And the first person showed up and I realized I didn't know how to take credit cards. I didn't know how to, I didn't know how to do it. I was just like, oh my gosh, this person is here and I got to act like I know what I'm doing. And that launched the whole thing. So it's kind of a funny story, but
Yeah,
now
I love it, Loretta, because you just fake it till you make it, and you're not faking it, but you're just giving yourself permission to be confident in the situation so that confidence grows.
Well, and my heart knew it was like, no, you're doing this, and I am doing this. Like it was just okay, and I'm comfortable, and I'm just going to do this. So anyway, I love these stories. You can't make this stuff up at some point. Nowadays, you know, I still run Reiki Oasis. And my joke is I do Reiki once in a while because, you know, we have a plethora of tools in our tool bag, just like you do. You know, one thing leads to another. So anyway, we're going to take a station break. Please don't go away. We're going to really dive into the Akashic Records. What is it? what's it for? And the amazing Amy, yes, I love that. AA, right? Is probably going to do something very special. So this is Loretta Brown, my guest today, Amy Robeson, and we're going to take a little station break. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Great. All clear.
Have something important to say? Want to help improve our world? Need to promote your business uniquely and effectively? KKNW is the answer. Our staff helps broadcasters and podcasters create professional sounding audio. Bring your talent and let our experts help you craft a radio show or podcast that best delivers your message. Learn more at 1150kknw.com. That's 1150kknw.com. KKNW, talk variety that's live and local.
Energy is powerful. It's all around us, mysterious, full of potential. Directing positive, healing energy to raise your vibrational rate through Reiki can change your life. Reiki Master Loretta Brown has relieved stress, sadness, anger, and even helped clients lose weight, stop smoking, and end sleep disorders. Worldwide, people have sought out Reiki Oasis. If you want help with your dis-ease, visit ReikiOasis.com. Harness life's energy. Visit ReikiOasis.com today.
When you struggle with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, you get used to not feeling 100%. I thought that was how it had to be. Until I discovered the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. They told me about new medications that weren't around back when I was diagnosed. They helped me find a specialist who gave me a new treatment plan. I'm feeling better than I ever thought I could. Don't settle for not feeling your best. Take action today to take care of yourself. Spill your guts. Learn more at spillyourguts.org.
Easy on the ears, good for the soul. Alternative Talk 1150.
Ready to come back in? Sorry, I hate to interrupt there, ladies. Here we go.
Take my hand and come with me into this crystal scenery and wait till I retain the ticket.
I love it, Benny. Crystals, yes, I love it. Always the best. Anyway, welcome back to the original Loretta Brown Show, and I am the original Loretta Brown. That's how that works. Remember that these shows are archived. You can go download them and listen to them anytime you want at 1150 KKNW AM. Archives for the original Loretta Brown Show. We're also on iTunes, Podcast One, Spotify, X, Megaphone, YouTube, and all over the place, honestly. I think you can go and tap it into the Amazon search bar and it'll come up. So that's how things work these days, right? And my guest today is Amy Robeson. And also, you have a website, don't you, Amy? What's your website?
It's theamyrobeson.com. And don't go to amyrobeson.com because you'll get a realtor. It's theamyrobeson.com. And I got tons of free stuff on there. In February, we're going to be doing a free Akashic Record Masters series. We got 20 plus free healings on my website. You can just go to theamyrobeson.com/free and get some free gifts. And then you'll get notified for when we do the free Akashic Record Masterclass series in February.
I love the fact that it's the Amy Robeson. I love it. So Amy, the Akashic records. What is the Akasha? What are the Akashic records for those that might not know?
It is a field of infinite possibilities. So every word, deed, thought from the moment your soul is incepted is recorded in the Akash. We can open up your Akashic records to speak to the guardians. I also call them the masters, teachers, and loved ones, to receive love and guidance and support in any and all areas of your life. The way that I teach my students, it is not just a past life regression tool, because some people have that conception that it's only for past lives. The records are for the past, the present, and the future. In the Bible, they're called the Book of Life. I call them the Akashic Records. They are an amazing self-discovery tool. They are here to support you. You can show up as messy as you want. You do not need to be prim and proper to go into the records. It is not a long, drawn-out process on how I teach it. I want it to be quick and fast because we live in a society of instant gratification. And so a 30-minute, a 45-minute, an hour-long practice is not feasible for some people. And I just recommend, like, my students take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes a day. Just go in the records. And the guardians, they're so funny. They meet you where you're at. They have humor. They have sarcasm. That's really great. I think it's great. And if you're a sarcastic person, they'll meet you where that you're at. If you're a serious person, they'll talk to you seriously, but they're also going to assist you in lightening up because we're meant to have fun. And spiritual work does not have to be heavy all the time. And there's going to be heavy stuff that comes up that they'll assist you with, but they're also going to invite you to have fun. And that's really important. The way that I like to use the records myself is for any and all areas of my life. That's money, wealth, health, spirituality, fun and leisure, romance, family, relationships, and career and business. I built my whole business using the Akashic records on how to build it, how to market it, what to say, how to do my sales pages. I've used them and utilized them to their maximum capacity every time I've launched something or have done something. And they're very, very, very helpful for all of that and so much more.
So first of all, where do I go to sign up to learn that from you?
Just go to my website.
I'm in.
Sacred Awakening is my Akashic record program. It's our level 1 program. And it couples, the cool thing that I love about the Akashic records is it couples well with all the other tools in your toolbox. It meets you where you're at. So if you have Reiki in your toolbox or you have professional business, they're going to incorporate all that because they're going to take all of the knowledge from this lifetime and previous lifetimes and other timelines that you're on as well, because we're multidimensional. Everything's happening simultaneously. And they take into account all of that and they speak to you in a way that you understand. And so they're not going to speak to you in language that doesn't make sense. Because I know you've ever gone to the doctor and they start talking to you in all these medical terms and you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Or you have a friend that talks to you about their career and they're talking to you about in all their slang terms about their career and you're like, your eyes are glassing over. You can't comprehend. And so the guardians of the records, they speak to you in a way that you understand. And so that you can take action.
So when you access the records, or I like to say play in the records, when you play in the records, and you said it's past, present, and future. And I get asked this question a lot. So are all of these things set in place? Are they already done?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Talk about that for a minute.
No, because we have free will.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Just like how we're ever changing, the records are ever changing as well. They're not solid. They're not fixed. They are energy. And they can transmute and transform. And the way that, and I'm sure you remember this, Loretta, back in the day, in order for someone to channel information, they had to go into a deep, deep trance, and only a certain amount of people could do it. And it took a tremendous amount of energy. That's not the case anymore. And everyone is intuitive. Everyone has access to their clairs. And the clairs is how we receive intuitive information. And so the guardians speak to you through your clairs, through a process of connecting with the records, and it's not fixed. So that's the cool part about it, is if you decide, because I think the record's full time, and so you have an opportunity to get an opportunity to go, hey, this is what's going on in my life. How can you offer me a different perspective? Because perspective breaks chains. And if you have a different perspective, you can see things in a different light and you can make different decisions. Also, they give you stepping stones. They can't make you do it, They can't make you do anything. And so, you know, and then there's things, you know, like maybe you've had a reading in the past and this person's like, you're going to have 3 kids. That is not set in stone. That is based on that moment in time. And that moment in time might completely change. You might take a completely different trajectory in your life. You might go, I don't want kids at all, or I only want 1 kid. And that's perfectly okay. Just because someone told you something doesn't mean it has to come true. You have the ability and free will to shift and change and morph your destiny to create the reality that you want.
You are turning light bulbs on in my head, which is fantastic. My favorite thing. So in this moment, so if we learn how to read our Akasha, is it Akashic records? Akasha?
So Akash means space in Sanskrit.
Okay.
Sanskrit. So it's Akashic records. You can also call it the Akash because we're tapping into that space. I call it the infinite possibility. People see it and perceive it in different ways. All of those ways are perfect because that's your intuition assisting you in tapping into it.
Yeah, that was my question. How do we perceive it? And also, I'm thinking, so if we learn to do this, if I learn it, you learn it, the listeners learn it, then in the morning, like for instance, right now I'm in a very, oh man, something's going on. I'm going to the next level. I feel it.
Yeah.
I'm about to explode. And so for me, and I'm just going to bring this in because you had offered to do a little channeling from the, and for me and for the listening audience. So this seems to be the time. So I'm going through something where I feel like I'm about to explode, or I'm going to take my business somewhere else, or my presence on planet Earth, right? So to be able to tap into that and go, okay, where am I at right now in this moment? Mm-hmm. Where do I need to go? Where should I go? Where, like, I don't even know how to ask the question, honestly.
So just as that context for your listeners, our viewers, we were talking about doing a channel message for your listener, and then I also offered to offer you a personal channel message from the guardians through the Akashic records. And when you're talking about that, Loretta, what I'm seeing you is like an egg, and that you're about to crack open. Yeah. But it's not about breaking the shell completely. So it's not about dismantling your life. It is about allowing those cracks to be filled in with gold. Ooh. And how you fill that in is they're inviting you to have more fun, and they're calling it epically more fun.
All right, I'm writing that down.
Epically more fun.
Epically more fun. That's my $1 million t-shirt right there. Okay.
And
oh, wow, I just lit up.
Yeah, can you feel that?
Yeah, totally.
Because you're going to make different decisions based on you being really embodied. Because when you're embodied in your light. And you're not allowing the shadows to dictate where you're going through past experiences. So part of this is they're wanting me to emphasize not dismantling your life, because that's not necessary. You've gotten to this place and you're in an actual really good place. Some people would be like, I would love to have that life, right? So it's not about not being grateful. It's about allowing this expansion to happen to assist you in going to the next level. And if any of your listeners is resonating what I'm sharing with you, take what resonates, because we're doing this in a group setting. Yes. And leave behind the rest. So the question for you for the rest of the year and on a constant daily basis is, how can I invite more fun into my life?
I'm writing it down. How can I invite more fun?
Yeah. And are you a tea drinker?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And
so
coffee. Yeah. Tea. Yeah.
Going to a tea house is fun.
Yes, it is. It's very fun.
So like, that's why I just see you like going to a tea house and like, like that's your fun little adventure for the day. It's like, I'm going to go explore and I'm going to go smell the different tea cans and I'm going to buy a couple different teas and it's going to be awesome. And this is where your inspired, there's calling inspired intuition is going to come into play. I've never used that phrase before. Inspired intuition. So it's like your intuition's going to be guiding you inspirationally in the most different way you've ever experienced it before. And you've had hints of it. And it's almost like, you know, like when you like you smell like hints of pepper all of a sudden, or a hint of spice in something, and it's not fully there, but it's there. It's like you've had these hints before, but this is like completely different level of where you're going. And the path, I think like sometimes people think like the path is supposed to be this straight line. This is the path I'm taking, where it's actually this like windy road. And it's like you're enjoying the winds. You're enjoying the scenery, because you get to, when it's windy, you get to actually look back at the road from before and from a different perspective. And it's very fascinating how they're showing me this. How does all this feel for you?
Oh, it's spot on.
Good.
Absolutely. I call it magical moments, but that inspired intuition is, yeah, I've had that off and on throughout my life. And that you saying that makes me so happy. Like, yes, that's how we do it. And that winding road is making me think about what you said earlier about following the energy. Following the energy. And it doesn't have to be like a straight shot from a cannon.
Yeah.
Although it could be, but
absolutely. And sometimes it is, but it's actually quite beautiful how the windy road makes sacred geometry, because it's very sacred on how the path is led. And the other piece that I'm getting is, I'm hearing for you to speak, because there was something else that I was getting and it's not there yet. Go ahead and share a little bit more, and I know I'll get it.
No, I just want to say this because I want to reiterate for the listening audience, if there's something in what Amy is saying, if it's resonating with you, please, it is for you. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. And yeah. Okay.
I got it. Okay. So they're showing me like the road isn't a black tar paved road. That the road gets to be as magically as you perceive it.
Okay.
So if it's adorned with pixie dust and glitter, that is what it can be. It's up to our imagination, because our brain does not know the difference between reality and fiction. It is up to our imagination to perceive the road as how we perceive it. And perception is, and this is for the listeners, this is a general message for everyone, is that there is this year is so crucial in giving yourself to perceive life differently. And that starts with the path. You get to adorn the path with your magic. You get to adorn the path with your laughter. You get to adorn the path with your ability to stay centered in the midst of chaos.
Yes.
And chaos is going to be all around you no matter what. I just got back from hosting that retreat I was telling you about, and my poor husband has had a rough week, like a super rough week. And I called another family member, and that family member was super manic when I called, and I'm like, you know what? No one's still in my Zen right now. I am not responsible for carrying their anxiety, their stress. I feel for you. I'm so sorry you went through that, but it does not serve my highest good to take that on as my own. And I'm not going to be knocked out of my center, because I just spent the last 7 days being super centered and super happy and super playful. and I'm keeping that. And there's nothing I can do to change what just happened for you. Nothing, except just say, I feel you. I'm sorry. And that's it. And the more that we do that and recognize our own responsibility and our ability to stay centered, rooted, and grounded, the more everything else that feels constricting, feels like it's going to suffocate you, will start to fall away. And it's magical.
It is magical. That message for all of us, right? To stay centered in the midst of chaos. What a powerful message. It's it's spot on. It really is. This up and down stuff that we're all going to go through, and how we can do this, right? So anyone can learn to access the Akashic records.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone.
Right.
And it just depends on what teacher you're guided to. Because like, I know for me, I'm not everybody's teacher. There's lots of teachers out there. And you got to just follow who you're guided to learn from. I do think learning from a teacher is a really great opportunity to fold time. There's many ways that you can learn, but if you're wanting to do it quicker, you're wanting to understand how to do it quicker, learning that way is one way, but sometimes that's not feasible for everyone. And so there's many, many resources out there for you to learn. You just want to make sure you're careful, because spiritual practices can be dangerous. You want to be careful. You want to make sure that you're doing things properly and that you're keeping yourself safe as well. Because that's the other thing is, like, I think some people have this misconception of like, oh, I saw someone doing that once and I can do it now. And it's like, no, they've had years of training, and it's really important that you're not messing with energy that you don't understand, because there's lots of not high vibrational energy out there. And so we want to stay in a vibration that supports you in growing and supports you in having a self-discovery, because that's what you're here for, is self-discovery. Self-discovery leads to soul evolution.
I love that. You offer so many wonderful things. You know, you also do lots with crystals and the light language, and maybe we'll just have to have you back and have you do that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. But tell us a little bit about the things that you offer. And it's all through your website, right? Like if I understand correctly, you're not really, are you doing private sessions anymore? Or no?
I'm not anymore.
Okay.
Like, my groups are my focus, and it's just I've gotten to a place where I can't do one-on-one sessions or group or even one-on-one coaching right now, just because I'm actually scaling, taking away some stuff this year, because I'm making space for the things that want to be birthed. And so I have to make that space. But the main things that I offer are Sacred Awakening, which is my Akashic Record program. We have levels within levels of that, where we connect with the ancestors, you learn how to be a healer. But the main thing is you learn how to open the records for yourself and others. I teach light language. Light language is the weirdest thing ever. When my guides are like, you're going to speak it and you're going to teach it, I'm like, I'm going to do what? And I'm like, I don't want to do this. And they're like, trust me, Amy. And I'm like, oh, okay. I feel very awkward doing this. But I did it anyways, and it's crazy how many people come to me, because light language is coming forward for a lot of people right now. And if you don't know what it is, it's the cosmic soul of cosmic language of your soul. And there are words, human words, that cannot be equated into something that wants to be birthed forward. And so every sound, movement, and symbol holds paragraphs of information. And then I also teach about crystal, and all of those things are infused in like the healings and activations that I do as well.
And it's all at the Amy Robeson .com. Right.
Yeah.
So we are down to 10 seconds. The last word to the audience.
You are meant to be you, shine your light, and it's safe to be you. So go out and just have fun and be you.
I love that. Amy, what a delight to have you on the show today. What a blessing. What a wonderful thing under the full moon in Leo. And so much love to you. So much love to everybody listening. And Benny Mathers, you are the best. Thank you so much.